Hello YouTube, this is DieHard1000 and welcome to another video. This, I'm not going to try to butcher that name, is a Vietnamese made, from what I've seen, Soundcard. It's called the Max230, and if I'm wrong I'll put it in the description. I haven't opened up the stuff for this, so yeah, no clue what the hell that means. We've got this, so yeah. This will be my own unboxing. You can see in the back here the details for this particular one. I paid 67 Australian dollars for this, and we're going to try to unbox this with one hand. If we have too many difficulties, we'll have to pause the recording for a moment and whatnot. It's alright. It's only, what do you call it? Heat shrink. So we can manage this just with a fingernail. So there we are, we've got part of it done, so now we should be able to lift this off and just rip into it. If we're actually capable of doing so, which we are. So I'm currently doing this in my kitchen, just because I hear the knock on the door, and thus, yeah. I had to go find it. So, here we are. We'll get this thing open. Far out. Give me a second. Alright, after struggling with the damn box, I finally got it open. So we have some instructions here, which I assume are going to be... Oh, we've got some in English. Would you look at that? We have English instructions. So, this specifically is for... We bring it in here, you can plug it into your computer. You've got a headset interface and you've got a microphone interface with a 5V DC line in, which is here. Now that is for charging. So it has its own small internal battery. So what I would do personally is I would just plug it into 2 USB ports if you've got that option, and just make your life a lot easier. So another wrapped packaging. I'm just going to lift up the phone. Nice closed cell phone here. Actually, it's fairly compressible, but it is a nice phone. Actually, I shouldn't call it closed cell. I think that's open cell phone. So here's the actual sound card itself. That's fairly heavy. I put it at about 800 grams. Sorry about that. I needed the other hand to get that packaging off. So this is the device itself out of its packaging. It is quite a nice. Those wheels are nice. The buttons themselves, well, they seem fairly good. So each one is its own thing. It's supposed to have its own audio cleaner, audio chip inside of it, as you would expect. So we're just opening up the accessories box here. So we have a few different connectors here. So we have the, I assume this is two-part. This will be power and the connection to the PC. Which we find is probably correct, because these here look like they are... Oh, look at that. USB Type-C, that's a nice inclusion actually. If it's USB Type-C, then it makes it a bit easier, and it's got a faster connection, which is probably why I think it's 5V at 3A. We've got aux to aux, and another one which is a red-ended, so there's going to be 2 different purposes for these. I think one is going to be your live output, and one is going to be your aux output, because your microphone and your headset should have their own outputs. So that is what these here should be for, and that's pretty nice. Well, next thing we can do is go plug it in and see how it goes. Okay, and we're back. It's been a few days since the first part of the recording and the unboxing of this thing, and as you can see, we powered it. This is an interesting piece of equipment, we'll call it. So it has its own internal battery, and that does 2 things. 1, it powers the thing, and 2, it allows the chip to run. So if it's not on, it'll still pass through the microphone, but it won't have any cancelling, and it'll be really quiet. There's no power getting to the microphone. So I do have this completely set up. So I have my condenser mic plugged in. we have the computer, and we have an extra aux cable here. So this I'll explain a little bit later, but we'll go over to some settings here and the use of the microphone. So fairly simple. You have a microphone knob, which allows, oh, you have two knobs, should I say. You have two knobs, and you can adjust these fairly simplistic. So nice and easy. You can add monitor, you can adjust the treble, and whatnot. So you got reverb, so all that does is add an echo. You have live, which is a separate microphone, and you have bass, which adds more bass to it. So I keep these maxed out, and it generally just seems to work with my microphone. So you've got some sound settings here, which we'll go over a bit later. You've got multiple different settings here. These here are for the live music, from what I have gathered. You probably see the LEDs in this are quite flickery, to be honest. The LED on this isn't that flickery, but the LEDs in here are quite flickery. If you get the camera to focus on my hand a bit more, and then we bring it up, you can see it flickering, but then the shutter speed sort of slows down and they don't become as flickery. So it's a little bit of a thing. Visibly I can't actually see the flicker, so from the naked eye you can't see it. It's just the shutter speed of the camera. So you've got a version which adds a little bit of reverb on top of itself. You've got accompaniment which turns on the live. That's right, turns live on. You've got your things here. So it's really weird the way it's done. So you've got claps and cheer, that is literally just clapping. You've got laughter. This is supposed to be like a laser gun, but it also says despise, so it's really weird. This is just a crow. This is currently some Vietnamese song, and this here is not Kiss. This is, we don't actually know. We've done a few things to see, and yeah, we've not managed to work anything like that out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to explain the extra bits and pieces, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll switch over to far out. Sorry. We're going to switch over to the desktop, and we're going to start recording from the desktop, and we'll use that to work out some of these settings. And yeah, let's get over to that. Alright, so now we're on my messy as hell desktop, and we're doing some recordings with it. So this is through my condenser microphone, and it is really good. Like, there is very nice sound quality to this. So currently we've got the mic setting maxed out with the treble on. So what we'll do here is we'll turn the treble off, and you'll probably hear it, it'll quieten down, and it'll get really weird, because the voice will be really, really basic. So we're going to turn the treble back on. We're going to move back over to mic settings. We're going to turn the reverb on. So this is adding reverb, and it's probably sounding really, really weird, because it sounds like I'm stupidly echoey. So we'll turn that off. Live, because I don't have a separate instrument, won't work. Bass, turning that there down. From what I've heard, it does clear up some of the audio, but beyond that, that's about it. So we'll turn that back on. So currently the setting that we're on is SIG, so we can switch that over to MC, which I don't actually know what that does, because it doesn't seem to change anything.
You've got track 1, which is high-pitched voice.
Low-pitched voice.
High-pitched voice.
Low-pitched voice.
And then you have original, which doesn't seem to utilize the chip, it just seems to pass it straight through. So if you use Sing, it utilizes the chip. It's fairly simplistic. It is a nice piece to use. Like, it's not a bad thing. So we'll turn Invasion on, and you can hear what that does. So this is what Invasion sounds like. It sounds really weird, I know. And that's it. And if I turn accompaniment on, it doesn't do anything anyway, because there's no separate microphone plugged in. So the benefit of this, from what I said before, is it's got its own little soundboard built in. But with that aux cable that I pointed out before, you can plug any other device into this, like a phone or another soundboard. So if you wanted to add extra keys and extra sounds, you could with an extra soundboard. So now you'd have to configure it slightly within your own computer to allow yourself to hear it, or you could run a separate set of headphones from the device, because it does have an output. It has a headset output which you turn monitor on. Do not use this device for output from your computer, because it will refeed.
it will take that device and it will allow it to go back down the microphone line. So if you're talking to people, they will be able to hear themselves, because it will take the output from your computer into itself, do its own audio processing, give it to your ears, and then send it down the same line for your microphone. And that annoys me. That is the worst part about this, the fact that it does that. That is hellish. If it didn't do that, it'd be perfectly fine, but it does. And that's the worst part behind it. So what we can do here is we'll start testing out some of these different bits and pieces. So we'll run claps. Which is incredibly loud. I'm not going to say it's not. It is absolutely insanely loud. We'll run laugh. Which isn't too bad. This is the laser gun one, which is gunfire. It is also one of the longer ones. It does last quite some time, and there's no way to stop them once you've started them, and you cannot turn them down. There is no dedicated volume knob for them. So we'll do awkward, which is a really short one, and it works quite well. It's not super loud, it's perfect. We'll go ahead and we'll do the multi-style song. This is very loud, so if you're a headphone user, get ready to turn down.
What's
And if someone actually knows what that is, and they want to let me know, please do. I have no clue what the hell it is. There is no accompanying software to change any of these either. This is what you get. There is a chip inside, I believe, that you could adjust and you could add your own stuff onto, although you'd have to know how to edit flash chips, which shouldn't be too difficult. So now we'll do the last one, which is attention/kiss.
给大哥点点关注。
And once again, I have no clue what that one there actually is or what it does. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab my phone, because I have prepared myself already for this, and we're going to plug it into the aux, and you're going to see what I'm talking about when, well, you won't see it, but you'll know what I'm talking about when it comes to the audio. So it is quite intriguing because, well, how do I put it? Having the ability to have a soundboard. Okay, it's nice to have a soundboard that you can hear, but sometimes this is not possible. So all I did is I went online and I picked up a app, which is a soundboard app, which has just got a bunch of predefined sounds. So we're going to play this.
My name is Jeff.
So that's nice and easy. It's not super loud. Well, it shouldn't be super loud. I don't actually know. So there's all sorts on here. And if you know what you're doing, you can set up your own soundboard app or whatever. You could have your own device. You could have a laptop sitting next to you just with a soundboard on it. You could do anything. As long as it's got a microphone output, you could do it. And that's nice and easy for most people. And as I said, if you wanted to listen to what's happening through your device, you could run your own set of headphones, which makes it fairly useful, to be honest. There's definitely I have definitely got uses for this, besides the insane audio quality of this device, because it is really nice audio quality. I'm not going to compare it to the old Soundcard, because trust me, you will no longer have eardrums. It is horrible. Plus, you can't hear it because it is really low quality. But otherwise, this is a great device. The biggest downside that I have is the fact that it has a battery inside of it. You can run it for about 8 hours before it will crack the shits and turn itself off. You do have to charge it separately. It does take charger in from the PC port, but it doesn't provide enough voltage and amperage to keep the battery charged. So you do need to provide it with an external power every so often. If you have an external power and you have an extra USB port, you could plug that in and then just have the computer charge and run it at the same time, and that should be perfectly fine. But otherwise, I don't have that. So I don't have any extra USB ports currently available to me. So what I have to do is I have to use my phone charger, which works perfectly fine, and there's no issues on that. So, but otherwise than that, it is a good device, and it is something that I personally would recommend if you're looking for a relatively cheap sound card that's got its own little soundboard with sound filtering, and you're running a condenser microphone. This is definitely a good device to pick up. For me, it cost me $76. Australian, so that's cheaper. There is a Taobao seller for these. When I got mine, I bought it from eBay, he's a secondary seller, so he purchased it from Taobao, who then forwards it on, which is a fairly common practice, but it's still, the description on the item gave me the URL for it, but that URL is no longer active, so you'd have to find it yourself. So it is overall fairly nice. What we'll do here is we'll go through the eMusic stuff so you can hear, well, what the changes are, and you'll be able to hear yourself that there's no real changes. So this is F, this is E sharp, this is E, this is D sharp, this is D, this is C sharp, this is C. And now we're back over to sing. There's just no real change to it. And yeah, that's really it. To be honest, I think we're going to wrap that up here because there's nothing else really to talk about this device. It is overall a good device, and I would recommend it a purchase. It is a nice device, and yeah. But now I'm sounding like a broken record, so we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.